Down below! Down below! Down below! Down below! Down below! Down below! Friends, 2 Russian tankers have been blown up at once in the Black Sea. SBU's Sea Baby naval drones hit the KAIROS and the VIRAT, ships of Russia's merchant fleet that Moscow used to bypass Russian sanctions, right on target. One tanker exploded right off the coast of Turkey. The second was attacked again and suffered critical breaches. At the same time, a marine oil facility was hit, as well as the CPC terminal in Novorossiysk, the very one through which Russia pumps millions of tons of oil.
Whoa! Oh my goodness, wow. Bam! Right by the port there.
Shipments have been halted and tankers are fleeing the area. And this is just the beginning. Stop! Please, I need you to stop right now. Stop, please, right there. Just hold on for a moment.
Slow.
Alabuga is on fire. In Taganrog, the plant for modernizing strategic bombers Tu-95 was hit.
Shit. Oh God.
A strike on the Afipsky oil refinery. A blackout in Kazan.
Truly unbelievable. Oh Lord, what was that?
That wasn't a drone, I hope.
No, fuck, shit.
Detonation in Belgorod region. The armed forces of Ukraine are carrying out a massive series of pinpoint strikes on Russia's most critical infrastructure. Friends, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yes, that's right, happy. This helps our blog stay alive and soar to the top. Thank you all. Glory to the armed forces of Ukraine. Well, friends, the series of strikes over the past day is one of the harshest of the entire month. Russia is losing 2 positions at once, the sea and the sky. In the Black Sea, tanks of the Russian fleet are burning. In Novorossiysk, the oil artery has been stopped. And in Taganrog, there's a fire right in the workshop. Modernization of the Tu-95 strategic bombers. Alabuga is ablaze. The Afipsky oil refinery is under attack, and the power grids of Tatarstan and Belgorod regions are in chaos. There are blackouts there. We are attacking drone manufacturing plants. Now we'll break everything down. What exactly was destroyed, what losses Russia has suffered, and why this night became a turning point. Let's start with the most important thing. 2 tankers from Russia's Shadow Fleet have been blown up, plus a strike on the CPC terminal. The SBU's CBBC drones carried out a joint operation with the Ukrainian Navy. The KAIROS and VIRAT tankers, which were part of the sanctions evasion system, were hit. The explosions were massive. Let's take a look at this footage. 1 tanker caught fire 28 miles from Turkey. The second was hit again. Turkish rescuers fought the fire. There is a risk of sinking. Here is video confirmation. Critical breaches, ships taken out of service. At the same time, the seaport terminal in Novorossiysk, from where Russia ships oil tankers and oil shipments around the world, also came under attack. The terminal halted shipments and the tankers were evacuated to sea. This is a blow to the Kremlin's energy heart. A strike on the aircraft repair plant in Taganrog, where 2 95 and a 50 aircraft are modernized. The General Staff confirms a renewed fire in the workshop for repairing 295 strategic bombers. The strike hit one of the key facilities where 295 and A-50 Durlo aircraft are modernized. These are the very aircraft used to launch Kh-55 and Kh-101 missiles at Ukraine. We are talking about strategic bombers. The destruction of this facility means a decrease in the pace of Russian missile strikes. And the Afipsky oil refinery is burning. It's under attack again. Explosions have been reported, and there is a large-scale fire.
Shit. Oh my goodness gracious, what in the world is happening right before my very eyes? This is truly unbelievable.
The refinery supplies fuel to the Russian army. A repeated strike means critical infrastructure is out of operation. A vertical storage tank has been destroyed. ROPIC 5,000 in Tuapse, officially confirmed by the General Staff. And there's a huge fire in Tatarstan. The Alabuga economic zone, 5,000 square meters are burning. This is the zone where Shaheds are assembled. It is engulfed in a massive fire. A battery warehouse is burning, one of the key sites for drone production. The area of the fire is growing. The helicopter can't contain it, the fire at all. 300 people have been evacuated. The attack is hitting the production of Shaheds, which Russia uses to constantly attack Ukraine. And there's a blackout in Kazan, the cherry on top, a direct hit on the electrical substation. The city was hit by a massive blackout. Here are these shots. Take a look.
Oh, holy crap.
Oh, damn.
Oh my god, what was that?
That wasn't a drone, I hope?
No. No way.
Manly! Shit, damn. Couldn't keep up, fell behind.
The strikes are hitting the energy infrastructure of Tatarstan, disabling key nodes. And also the attack on the electrical substation in the Belgorod region. In the village of Dragonskoye, the Frunzenskaya substation caught fire after the strike. This is not the first attack. A fire has been confirmed, as well as damage and disruptions to electricity and heating. Undoubtedly, the important news is already the results of the strike on the Saki airfield in occupied Crimea. There are wounded Russian soldiers there. Dozens are wounded in the Saki hospital. A hangar with Orion and 4-post drones was hit. We are attacking the storage, basing, and production sites of drones of the Russian Federation. These are very important strikes. Air defense positions, Panzer S-1 and Torem 2 have been destroyed. Friends, please like this video and support us with a comment. In the comments, write a few kind words in support of Ukraine, as well as where you're watching from. Friends, Ukraine has carried out a massive complex strike. Sea, air, energy, air defense, oil industry, drone production, repairs, strategic aviation. The Kremlin is, as usual, trying to hide the scale of the strikes on the Shadow Fleet, on Taganrog, on Afipsky, on Alabuga. This is a systematic destruction of Russia's military machine. We are also attacking thermal power plants, which is very important. The ring is tightening around Moscow.
A nasty, nasty wolf's tail.
Friends, now let's take a look at an analysis of traditional select Russian propaganda. Like this video, support my content, and write a few kind words in the comments. In support of Ukraine, in support of the armed forces of Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. We will definitely win. And
there are pink ponies who pretend that nothing is happening. What is the Rubicon? And at this moment, a simple but very powerful desire arises. Just for everyone to come to their senses, because there's no war in our world, right? The new year is coming. No need to ruin the mood. It's New Year. But the men are at the front. And here, the new year is happening. So when I see these people, I just really seriously want to actually head smersh. I really seriously want to head smersh, but not with harsh methods. Just take all these people who ask questions and simply take them to Horlivka for 24 hours. To our tormented friend Ivan Prikotko. And tell these people, let them just work with the utility workers in Horlivka. Heroes!
How?
What's going on with this?
Glass? It's your tradition, everything's fine. Today we managed without breaking a glass.
I've developed an entire protocol for what our services should do, in case you knock over a glass and it breaks.
Right now, there's no need to activate the protocol because the glass isn't broken.
I provoked it.
Yes.
Well, so kind of, yeah.
By the way, what's happening on the other side of this besieged fortress? Take note, over the past weekend, Poland conducted exercises with Polish civilians. 11,500 civilians were essentially called up for short-term military training where they practiced countering information threats and cybersecurity issues. But there were also exercises held with Poland's hunting clubs. They are all armed with smoothbore shotguns, practicing shooting at clay targets and drones. In other words, they are essentially implementing the plan to create an aerial security wall along Poland's borders. At the same time, in Lithuania, similar practical activities have begun. That is, civilians are also being gathered and trained using manuals that were previously practiced by the armed forces. And by the way, Alexander Lukashenko noted that Poland is undergoing militarization. There are currently 200,000 armed forces, and within a year, they plan to have 300,000. So, the issue is actually quite serious. Without the hazel tree, perhaps without this threat directed at the collective West, we really can't manage.
If you look at the map, shift your gaze to the map, to the northeastern side, further on there. Komsomolsk. And directly to the north of Komsomolsk, we find the significant cities of Kupiansk, then Sloviansk, and just a little bit further to the north, specifically in the northeast direction, is the strategically important location of Siversk. There are active combat operations taking place inside the city of Komsomolsk. And already a significant number of buildings have been liberated by our troops, and the advance continues.
The internet has been partially shut down. Of course it has been done. This is part of ensuring additional security. On the other hand, some of the coordination that was established in the Belgorod region has been disrupted, primarily in terms of alerting other defense elements. So now this morning, we will be working with law enforcement agencies to oversee all these processes, to establish more effective coordination that allows us to find a compromise solution.
Careful.
Of course, that's why they will never understand what our problem with Ukraine is. They won't understand this at all. Europeans won't understand why we have such an attitude toward the Nazis. Because they themselves are Nazis.
Of course.
It's their grandfathers and great-grandfathers. This is a Nazi
European Union.
Our hatred toward them, they say, well, what's the big deal? I say, we remember his great-grandfather, his grandfather. Wonderful people, as that Slovak was saying. Annalena Baerbock and all the rest. That's all there is to it. And speaking of...
Look at the map, Look, shift your gaze to the map, to the eastern, northeastern side. Further on there, Komsomolsk, right? So directly north of Komsomolsk are the cities of Kupiansk and Slaviansk. A bit further to the northeast, you will find Severesk. Inside Komsomolsk, there is fighting going on in the city. And already a significant number of buildings have been liberated by our troops, and the advance continues. If Ukraine withdraws from the territories they occupy, then the fighting will stop. If they don't leave, we will achieve this by military means. And what is this in connection with? Honestly, I'm telling you, I don't even understand what's actually going on.
Ukrainian propaganda is constantly trying to accuse you of drunkenness. They say that Zakharova is everywhere, on every corner, together with Lavrov, drinking from the same bottle and so on. How do you even react to this rudeness? Or have you already gotten used to it and so on? And
do you understand why? There's nothing else to find. Apparently they searched high and low. I think without overestimating things. But I think considerable effort was spent trying to find something somewhere in the NATO back rooms or in NATO corridors or in NATO offices, to find some kind of excuse, to come up with some baggage. I've had it all. There were drones flying over my Dhaka, my parents, and they sent some people. There was just about everything already. Apparently they just can't find anything, so they made something up. And do you understand why they made it up? Well, they need to somehow try to marginalize what I'm saying.
We welcome the Trump administration's efforts to seek reasonable solutions, reasonable outcomes. Various versions of this plan are just negotiation points. There can be no talk of any concessions or of abandoning our approaches to those key issues we face, including in the context of the special military operation. This is out of the question. I emphasize that various elements of Anchorage themselves represent compromise solutions. The President of the Russian Federation has also spoken about this. This is the basis by which we will be checking when we study and continue discussing the draft. The one that is currently on the table or will be on the table. But this is a matter of diplomatic and political procedure, not something that can be discussed online, since matters that are far too serious are currently in the spotlight.
Thank you. But right now,
as you know, everyone is either in Abu Dhabi or in Dubai. Basically, the whole crowd is there. Only you and I are here in Bishkek, and we're doing just fine. And the whole crowd, both the respectable and the not so respectable, is over there. And among that crowd were representatives who were doing serious work. These were representatives of the special services of Ukraine and Russia. They meet from time to time and discuss quite sensitive issues, including those related to prisoner exchanges. And as it happened during the meeting, there was a piano in the bushes. This was the new US representative who is now handling the Ukrainian dossier, the dossier. He also showed up there and, as I understand it, had a meeting with the Ukrainian representatives. Apparently this was arranged in advance. And he also met with our representatives completely unexpectedly. That's what happened in that great city of Abu Dhabi. From
our side, was it Narishkin?
No, it wasn't Narishkin from our side, but rather representatives of the relevant and appropriate agencies at a somewhat lower level, who expertly handle practical, complex and highly sensitive issues, and so on.
Based on these talks in Abu Dhabi, will we be able to get any idea about this so-called peace plan?
No, the peace plan was not discussed in Abu Dhabi. The peace plan in general is still being worked out in terms of details. We have seen it, it was passed on to us, but there hasn't been any discussion yet.
You passed it through unofficial channels, the minister said. So we still don't have any official document?
Yes, there's nothing official, but we do have it. And there hasn't been any discussion with anyone yet. No really serious analysis, no any truly serious discussion. Some aspects can be viewed quite positively, but a significant portion still requires a very special discussion among experienced experts.
In my opinion, things are developing and changing every 5 minutes, every hour.
Well, yes, the situation is being sorted out quickly, because we're not the only participants in this process. It's clear why. Well, and Russia and the Europeans are getting involved. There's absolutely no need.
We received the document through unofficial channels.
Several important documents. And I won't even deliberate upon with you in detail the different available options. Let's put it that way, for instance. Some of the quite recent latest versions have reached us. And furthermore, to my attention, therefore, I must acknowledge discussion. Once again, there hasn't as of yet been a truly serious discussion between the respective teams of the two countries. However, contacts are continuously ongoing and active. So far, no one has sat down at the round table to discuss it. This one, and this one, and this one, and another point, and so on. That hasn't happened.
In the US, even members of the Republican Party have already started calling for Witkoff to be fired after these transcripts of phone conversations were released. In your opinion, why was all this done? All these publications in general, what could they lead to?
Well, look, first of all, there's nothing particularly terrible about it. And probably those voices now calling for Witkoff to be fired are primarily aimed at disrupting the still modest trends toward resolving the issue through peaceful negotiations. There is a process underway, and it's a serious one. Just recently, Putin said that he would inform Lukashenko about how things are going on this track. Right now, there's probably nothing more important than this. Of course, there will be many people who won't hesitate to do anything to disrupt this process. But if you look and read, if you set aside whether it's true or not, set aside that question, there's really nothing so terrible about it. It's absolutely. And President Trump himself, by the way, he actually spoke out, albeit indirectly, in defense of Witkoff. This is just the usual work of a negotiator with the parties involved in the negotiation process, so I wouldn't exaggerate, let's say, the destructive impact of these leaks.
Bloomberg as a publication has always seemed quite respectable.
Listen, these days the word respectable probably shouldn't be used in relation to Western media anymore because no one there shies away from anything and they no longer feel any sense of professional shame.
Witkoff will come to Moscow next week, as Yuri Viktorovich Ushakov said today. Yes?
We are expecting such a visit and we anticipate detailed talks with the president. And
also, Western media are now actively reporting that supposedly Orban is coming to us.
As these contacts are finalized, we will also keep you informed.
Thank you. What do you think about today's publications in the American media? Which ones? The ones that allegedly mention your phone conversation with Witkoff, your conversation with Dmitriev. I
often talk with Witkoff, but I don't comment on the content. And what about Dmitriev? I can easily talk on the phone with you, with absolutely anyone, and I can certainly do the very same with Dmitriev.
Do you have something in common?
Why is that of interest? My conversation with Dmitriev, the Russian representative, not sure.
I don't know why they're interested in that. Surveys, publications by Yakov, your conversations. Why is this being done, in your opinion, for what purpose?
To interfere. It's hardly being done to improve relations, is it? Right now things are being arranged, but it's a difficult process through these kinds of contacts, like phone calls and such. Well, regarding Witkoff, I can say that a preliminary agreement has been reached that he will come to Moscow next week. He, along with several other key members of the current administration who are directly involved in critical Ukrainian affairs, has been instrumental.
Was the phone conversation a fake? Or did such a conversation actually take place?
I have stated that I frequently converse with Witkoff quite often, but the specific content of those particular conversations is strictly confidential and private. I do not comment. Yes, no one should comment.
Where exactly did they get all this information from?
I don't know. One person leaks, another listens in.
People are constantly trying to accuse you of drinking. They say that Zakharova is everywhere, on every corner, with Lavrov drinking from the same bottle and so on. How do you even react to this rudeness? Or have you already gotten used to it and so on? And
do you understand why?
There's nothing else to find. They searched, apparently with a fine-tooth comb. I think without exaggerating, but I believe considerable effort was spent trying to, somewhere in NATO, in the back rooms or NATO corridors or NATO offices, to find some kind of reason, to come up with some kind of baggage like that. I've had it all. There were even drones flying over my Dasha. My parents, and they sent some people. There was just about everything already. Apparently, they just can't find anything, so they made something up. And why did they make it up? You see? Well, they have to try somehow to marginalize what I'm saying.
Do you really want a lasting peace treaty between the nations of Russia and Ukraine?
Yes, of course, but on our terms.
We want it on Russia's terms.
What do you think are the most important terms?
For Russia to win. For everything to be as our president says.
Because then peace will be long-lasting. Because the threats against us will stop. We will stop being oppressed and bullied. No more sanctions imposed on us. No more treating us like second-class people. Is that really the case?
Personally, I don't understand why. We are friends with Belarus, but at war with Ukraine. Russians have a peaceful attitude toward Ukrainians.
Of course. I really want all of this to end. First of all repressions against Russians in Ukraine must stop.
No, I don't care. Honestly.
The same thing, victory?
Well, no, that's politics. We don't get into politics. No need. I'm absolutely not into politics, but I do want peace.
Of course.
We're normal people, after all.
All normal people want peace.
I wonder to myself, where do they keep it all? Where? Such a huge amount of money, where do they keep it? Where? Of course, in Bitcoin. No, well,
in different schemes.
Maybe in Europe.
The East America
should be able to see all of this through all the transactions.
Do they see everything? Yes.
Well, of course, indeed.
Do people think it's possible? But nobody sees Bitcoin. Yes, everyone sees everything.
I think that's happening there too.
Bitcoin is just another scam. Listen, it's all, there are always specific people. If you grab them by a certain body part, you can get any information you want.
And finally, Volodya, you understand? And
it could turn out that the second largest East Slavic state, in terms of its overall size, its inherent potential, and indeed in every other aspect, will simply cease to exist entirely. As a result of this war, it will simply dissolve. Who will go there? It would be good if it ends up, I'm just saying anything could happen, if it ends up under a protectorate. Normal people from Russia will come there, okay, I won't say anything more. They'll come and settle, people for whom this land is also dear. Let's say
of the same culture.
Of the same culture.
Originally of Orthodox culture.